So now we're going to handle number 2. So now here we have 4x squared plus 15x minus 25. Now, just like above, since we have a constant term, a non-zero constant term, excuse me, the smallest exponent of x is 0. The factors of 4, 15, and negative 25, they're here. Remember, they get the factors of negative 25. They're the same as the factors of 25. So we get 1, 2, 4. For 4. For 15, we get 1, 3, 5, and 15. And for negative 25, we have 1, 5, 25. And you can see the only common factor is 1. So the GCF would be 1 times x to the 0, which is really just 1. Okay? I mean, I know x to the 0 being 1 is not 100% precise, but for this class, it's okay. Now, so the GCF is 1, so we don't factor out anything initially. Now, 4 times minus 25, well, that's just minus 100. Okay, so we need two numbers whose product is minus 100, and the sum is 15. Well, I have it written down there. It might take a few tries sometimes to get the right numbers, but it turns out 20 and minus 5 are the numbers. Mostly because their product is negative 100 and their sum is 15. So we want to replace 15 with 20 plus negative 5. Now let's see what 15x is. We have 15x is 20 plus negative 5 times x, whole thing times x, excuse me, which when you distribute is 20x plus negative 5x. Now, from here, when we substitute, we're going to get 4x squared plus 20x plus minus 5x. Let's make that a plus just to keep it consistent. So plus negative 5x minus 25. That's equal to 4x squared plus 20x plus negative 5x minus 25. Again, it's good to have addition between the second and third term because when you form the two groups and you have the addition symbol, it makes it a little bit easier. So now we have to handle each group individually. So 4x squared plus 20x. Okay? Now, the smallest exponent of x, as we can see, is 1. Okay? The smallest exponent of x is 1. For 4 and 20, well, I listed the factors, but really we didn't need to. Since 4 is a factor of 20, 4 then is the greatest common factor of 4 and 20. You could always list the factors, but sometimes you don't have to. So the GCF for this group is 4 times x. Hence, we're going to factor out 4 times x from here. And what do we get? We get 4x times this. So we get 4x times 4x squared over 4x plus 20x over 4x. Right? Because again, we're dividing into each term. First quotient, what do we get? The 4's cancel. X squared over x becomes just x. 20x over 4x becomes 5. So this is what we get. Okay, so let's now handle the second group. So here we can see that the smallest exponent of x is 0. And let's look at the factors of negative 5 and 25, and negative 25, excuse me. Well, these are the factors. We can see that the greatest common factor among the coefficients and the constant term is, in fact, just 5. Just adding in the constant term, easy to fix. So that's what we get here. So the GCF, excuse me, then, is just going to be 5. 5 times x to the 0 because the smallest exponent of x is 0. But we just get 5. Now, The 4-term polynomial, if we were to scroll back up, which is what I'm doing here, we can see that the second and fourth term have opposite signs. I mean, I didn't point it out here, but you can see now, though, that they have opposite signs. I also did write it here as well. So we must factor out a negative. So we're going to factor out -5. And so we have -5 times this divided by -5. Doing so, we divide into each term as before. In the first quotient, we just get x because the -5's cancel. Here we have +5. I mean, really, we have minus -5, but that's the same as 5. And so now, plugging into the groups, plugging into the polynomial, we have 4x times x plus 5 plus -5 times x plus 5. Taking out the common factor of x plus 5, we have x plus 5 times 4x plus -5, which is, of course, equal to this. Okay, so this is what I got up to in class. So I'm going to stop here. I would make sure you look over 3 and 4. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to email me. Thank you.